Good morning. Namaste. I am Dr. Uma Keduvetal, Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Sciences, Jayoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. I'll be taking the course on basics of immunology for you this semester. And the first session is history of immunology. So immunology is actually a relatively new branch of medical sciences. It started as a branch of microbiology, which led to the study of infectious diseases and then how the body is responding to it. And one of the first terms that was coined was by Girolamo Fracastro, a colleague of Copernicus, and he wrote about contagion, which he defined as a cause of a disease. 200 years later, Edward Jenner in 1798 gave the concept of immunity in response to contagion. So this was Edward Jenner was the first person to have looked into the concept of immunity through the concept of vaccination, and he developed the concept of vaccination. His co-worker, Edward Jenner's co-worker, had cowpox infection, and then later he found out that she was resistant to smallpox. This lady, she was also a milkmaid. So what he found was that like milkmaids who are exposed to cows and frequently get cowpox, they then have immunity, or they can resist smallpox infection. So this discovery started the process of vaccination. What Edward Jenner did was something like he actually infected a boy with cowpox, and then later, once he recovered from that, he infected that person again with smallpox. That child survived, and therefore he was able to determine that once you have had cowpox infection, then you gain immunity against smallpox infection. Other major milestones in the history of immunology would be Lister, who introduced the concept of aseptic surgery, and Baudet, who showed that bacteriolysis and lysis of RBC need a sensitizer and an alexine factor. Now, Louis Pasteur, he has done major works in microbiology and in immunology, and he gave the concept of attenuation. So what happened was that he was actually working with a pathogenic bacteria, and then he injected that into chickens, and they died. But then he and his colleagues went for a vacation, and when they came back, they only had this one plate of this old strain of the bacteria left. So they anyways injected them into a fresh batch of chickens. And though this batch of chickens developed some amount of disease, they actually did not die. And then later what happened was he again developed a fresh culture of the same pathogenic bacteria. But then at that time, he actually had a limited number of chickens available with him, fresh chickens. What he did was he took a batch of the fresh chickens and the old chickens who had not died when they were earlier injected. And then to his surprise, he found out that the old batch of the chickens who had already been infected with the less virulent strain of the bacteria were immune, and they did not develop any disease, whereas the fresh batch, which had no earlier exposure to the pathogen, died. So he was the person who termed this process of developing the immunity in a person by exposing them to the pathogen, a milder strain of the pathogen as vaccination, uh, uh, by respecting the Edward Jenner's work, because vacca in Latin means cow. So Edward Jenner, since he had worked with cowpox in order to show the principle of immunity by vaccination against smallpox. So Louis Pasteur was the person who termed this process as vaccination. Now, this is another very famous experiment that, like I was saying, what Louis Pasteur's experiment was with bacteria. So again, this is another experiment on that. Like this was again using another bacteria, Bacillus anthracis. So sheep were injected with Bacillus anthracis, and one group was injected with heated anthrax. So when it is heated, the bacteria as such will remain, but they are dead. And there is another group which have not been exposed to anthrax bacillus in any way. And then after some time, after injection of this anthrax, like heat killed anthrax bacillus to group A, both the groups of the sheep were exposed to fresh and virulent anthrax species, the Bacillus anthracis itself. And then what happened is group A survives because they already had a prior exposure to anthrax, whereas group B died. And this experiment was also used to prove that even the heat killed, it need not be an attenuated strain which is less virulent but still active. You could even use a heat kill strain of bacteria, and that could also elicit an immunologic response. Other major milestones in the history of immunology were when Klebs and Loeffler isolated diphtheria bacillus, because diphtheria was a major cause of concern, like it was a major medical concern causing loads of death at that time in 1800s. So in 1883, when Klebs and Loeffler isolated the diphtheria bacillus, and then another breakthrough was when Mechnikov. He was a Russian zoologist, and he actually showed the idea of cellular immunology. He showed the process of phagocytosis by white blood cells in the frog. And thereby he introduced the concept of cellular immunology and phagocytosis. And later, like from 1880s, there were major developments, like Robert Koch. He isolated tuberculosis bacillus, and then he showed that there are different reactions when the animal is exposed to tuberculosis bacilli in different forms. And then Baudet discovered the complement system in 1886. Cross developed the precipitation by mixing of serum of a patient and filtrate of a typhoid bacilli, and thereby showing the process of immunoprecipitation and using antibodies. And Landsteiner dominated in the field of immunology. He actually discovered blood group, antigen, antibody, and also the incomplete antigens or haptens. They will be covered in the later part of the later in the course. So then in 1891, again Landsteiner, he published an article on the specificity of serologic reactions, like when you are exposing one antigen to the blood to a person and then collecting their serum. it will react specifically to that antigen further also, but however, it will not react to another antigen. Say if you have a person who has been, the serum collected from a person who has been exposed to typhoid, and then you are exposing that same serum to anthrax, it will not show specificity or precipitation for anthrax, but it will show specificity towards like the earlier exposed pathogen. And then again, there was Lady Mary Wortley Montagu. So she was in Turkey, and Turkey had this interesting system of vaccinating people against smallpox by actually collecting the pustules from the smallpox, and those variolae will be exposed to a person's skin, and thereby they will be inoculated against smallpox. So this was again an ancient custom in Turkey. There are other ancient customs like much earlier than 1800s, when the concept of immunology and immune reaction started developing in the European world. There were other interesting history of immunology. Like even in Greek culture, they knew that only a person who has recovered from a very fatal disease should be allowed to nurse the other people who have contracted that disease, because only those people could survive and give efficient care. The other people who had not been exposed could themselves develop the disease and die. So there was this ancient Greek knowledge. And then Chinese people were injecting the vesicle fluid of smallpox patients to healthy people to develop immunity. Again, it was not an accurate science, but many people did develop immunity with that. And then there is the process or the principle called Mithridatism. So in Mithridatism, it is there even in the Indian history, in Indian culture, that people used to take poisons in lesser amounts by increasing the amounts on a regular basis, and then finally they will be immune to that poison, because the body has developed immunity against that poison as an antigen, and so it will not react to that further. Then again, there was the same principle was used by Portuguese army officers who used ants for the poison to detoxify the poison, and it was later found out that ants contain hormone, which converts the toxin to toxoid, its inactive form, and therefore it could also give immunity to the people. So that is the major part of the history of immunology. Now, immunology in itself is a very major concept. So, what is immunology? Like I have told the history of immunology, as in like immune responses and everything. But what exactly is immunology is not a concept that has been covered in this session so far. So, our body is giving a lot of responses against whatever it perceives as a foreign agent. So it could be a bacterial species, it could be a fungal species, it could be anything that can cause you an allergy, like a pollen that causes allergy to some people. So it could be anything that can elicit an immune response, or that the body has developed a mechanism in order to protect itself from agents that could cause it harm. And that is what is covered in the topic of immunology. So in the later sessions, we will be covering innate and adaptive responses, humoral and cell-mediated immunity, what is an antigen, what is an antibody, the different types of hypersensitivity and all. So they will be covered in the later sessions. But for now, this session is coming to an end. Have a good day. Bye.